Hello, it's Big Chad, and this is the Trading Encyclopedia Daily Education series on my YouTube at Chad's Trading. You can find me on Twitter at Big Chads and Bitcoin Live, where I'm a founding analyst. For today's lesson, we're going to talk about a pattern called the Head and Shoulders Complex. You've seen the Head and Shoulders, inverted Head and Shoulders. We've even called it Three Buddha and inverted Three Buddha. And I have videos in all those, but this is a video specifically on the complex. So what does it mean? Well, it says here in the AI overview, unlike a standard pattern, the complex can have multiple shoulders or multiple heads. What does that mean? Well, let's look at a couple examples. Let's make up a couple examples here. So normally, shoulder, head, shoulder, and you can have a horizontal neckline, a rising neckline, a descending neckline, okay? But what if, instead of this, what if we have something like this? It's still a head and shoulders, and you can visually think, okay, well, this is two shoulders because you have peak, trough, peak, trough, you got time, distance, you made a move. You can say, okay, it's one shoulder, or it's also a complex, multiple shoulders. So you have two shoulders, one head, and then a right shoulder. You can also have shoulder, head, and shoulder. And okay, it's a head and shoulders complex. And it's one of those things where in TA and classical charting, there's a lot of terms for things which are like subtypes and subcontexts of certain things. Here's an example, right? Here's one where you have actually two left shoulders and two right shoulders and just a head. So it's a head and shoulders complex. But in theory, you can just call this one shoulder, right? So it's one of those things where there's terms, you can say, oh, look, it's a head and shoulders complex. But in reality, you can also just go shoulder, head, shoulder, because at the end of the day, we're talking about a head and shoulders invalidation and confirmation on the neck baseline, right? At the end of the day, what really matters is, do you have an actionable level? So does it matter that much if you have two left shoulders here, right? The two left shoulder, the height of this shoulder just gives you some information in regards to the height of the right shoulder, right? We're talking about head and shoulders. So for example, the shoulder's this height, but if the right shoulder's a little bit lower, right? That's okay, a little bit weaker. Maybe right shoulder's a little bit higher. Okay, it's a little bit stronger, not as strong a potential reversal. So the fact that it's a head and shoulders complex, it's just a term. It doesn't, in my opinion, change how you're going to play the price structure. You're going to look for a well-defined, ideally horizontal neck baseline. You can look for clues on volume, most volume on the left shoulder, a little bit less in the head, and even less in the right shoulder, and then the volume trend breaks when it breaks out or breaks down. So the head and shoulders complex really just means multiple shoulders and/or, right, multiple heads. You can have this. Here you have multiple shoulders, multiple heads, multiple shoulders. But at the end of the day, it's still an initial thrust, a second thrust, a third thrust, with a confirmation level and an invalidation level. So this is the Head and Shoulders complex for the Trading Encyclopedia Daily Education series on my YouTube, Chad's Trading. Find me on Twitter at Big Chads and Bitcoin Live, where I'm a founding analyst. Folks, thank you very much, and I'll talk to you soon. Big Chads out.